Okay, so when you think about a talking kitchen scale, what's the first thing that comes to mind? It's the voice, right? It's got to be loud, clear, easy to understand. But what if I told you that focusing on just the voice is actually a trap?
I mean, think about it. A scale with a perfect, crystal clear voice that gives you the wrong weight isn't just unhelpful, it's actually worse. It's actively misleading you. Today, we're going to dig into what really makes a great talking scale.
And spoiler alert, it has a lot more to do with the process than it does with the pronunciation. You see, the real measure of quality isn't the voice at all. It's something we call the workflow.
So let's just completely reframe the question. We're not looking for a great voice. We're looking for unbreakable reliability throughout the entire process of actually using the tool.
This quote right here just nails it. You have to judge the scale as a complete sensory workflow, not just some talking calculator that spits out a number. And that means looking at the entire process you go through to measure your ingredients, from the second you put the bowl down to that very last gram.
Okay, so this whole workflow idea, let's actually break that down. Because when you're in the kitchen, you're not just taking one single measurement and calling it a day, right? You're following a series of steps that are all connected, and the scale has to work perfectly at every single one.
Yeah, just think about any simple recipe. You're adding flour, then sugar, then maybe some salt, all into the same bowl. The scale's job is to keep up with that entire sequence, accurately every single step of the way, without fail. So, let's look at this. It seems so simple, doesn't it? You place the bowl, you zero it out, you add the flour, you zero it out again, add the sugar. But each one of these steps is like a link in a chain. And if just one of those links breaks, if one step fails, the whole recipe is at risk.
And that right there brings us to the very first, absolutely crucial pillar of a trustworthy workflow, the repeatability rule. It's a simple idea, but it is way, way more important than getting one single perfect measurement.
So, what is repeatability? It's just a fancy word for consistency. That's it. If you place a 100-gram weight on the scale, take it off, and put it back on, does it say 100 grams every single time? That consistency is what builds trust in your tool.
And this really shows you the difference. A scale might spit out the correct number once, but that could just be a lucky guess, right? That's not a tool you can rely on. What you really want is the scale on the left, the one that gives you the same, consistent, repeatable result every single time. That's how you build trust.
You know, this quote just sums it all up perfectly. Cooking happens in patterns, not isolated miracles. You're performing a series of repeated actions, and you need a tool that actually supports that pattern, not one that just gets lucky once in a while.
All right, on to the second critical piece of this puzzle. It's what's known as the unforgiving terrain. And let me tell you, unforgiving is the perfect word for it, because a tiny, tiny mistake here can have massive consequences down the line. The tare function, well, that's just the zero button. It's your reset switch. You press it, and you're basically telling the scale, hey, ignore everything that's on you right now, and let's start measuring the next ingredient from zero. It's absolutely fundamental.
And this is where things get really serious. If that tare function is off by even a little bit, that error doesn't just vanish. Oh no, it compounds. It's like a tiny mistake that infects every single measurement that comes after it.
Just look at this chart. See that little red bit at the bottom? Let's say that's a tiny 5-gram error from when you first tared the bowl. So when you add your flour, the measurement is already wrong. But look what happens when you add the sugar. That original 5-gram error gets carried over. It's still there, corrupting the next step. Your entire recipe is now built on a faulty foundation.
Okay, so with all of this in mind, how do you actually choose the right tool? Well, it's simple. You stop testing for features and you start testing for workflow.
You know, it's not like people intend to test products badly. It's just that we're often focused on the wrong things, like the volume of the voice. But if you just shift your focus from a single feature to the entire workflow, you'll get a much more accurate sense of a product's true quality.
So the next time you're evaluating a scale, here's what you should be testing. Push the tare button again and again. Does it return to a perfect zero every time? Weigh the same object, like a can of soup, multiple times. Do you get the same reading? You gotta ask yourself, can I trust this entire process? Ultimately, it really comes down to this. Buy for workflow reliability, not for a loud voice and a pretty product photo. A clear voice is nice, for sure, but it's completely useless if the numbers it's reading are wrong. The best tool is the one that delivers a trustworthy, repeatable workflow
every single time.
And you know, this whole way of thinking, judging a tool by its entire workflow, not just its flashiest feature, that applies to so much more than just kitchen scales. So I'll leave you with this question. What other tools in your life should be judged not by what they promise, but by how they perform from start to finish?